In the early 1960s, 13-man Seabee teams were sent to Vietnam to spearhead the U.S. counterinsurgency and civic action programs. This new breed of bee was dedicated to helping people help themselves. By building roads in the countryside and training local Vietnamese in the ways of construction, Seabees built American goodwill throughout South Vietnam. As tensions mounted between the North and South in 1965, it became necessary to deploy full construction battalions to support combat operations. On May 7, 1965, the 3rd Marine Expeditionary Brigade went ashore at Chu Lai in support of the Ba Long An operation, one of the first large-scale battles between U.S. forces and the Viet Cong. Seabee support to the landing was significant, including 2 8-pontoon causeway piers provided by a detachment of Fib Seabee-1, which Major General A.B. Collins, commander of the 3rd Marine Division, described as the one single function that made the entire operation possible. Seabees of NMCB-10 were tasked with the construction of an 8,000-foot runway and taxiway, over 1 million square feet of helicopter pads, 12 miles of roads, and 900 strong-back tents. The Chu Lai airfield was the first use of AM2 aluminum matting in Vietnam. These men of 10 completed the first 4,000 foot of runway in just 23 days, and only 30 days later completed the runway and parallel taxiway, often using Jeep headlights to work the field by night. General Lewis W. Walt, commander of the 3rd Marine Amphibious Force and later Assistant Commandant of the Marine Corps, summed up Seabee support to Chu Lai best. When we started this project, all these things started to happen. Obstacles kept coming our way. It seemed like a mountain that we were never going to get to the top of. The only reason we got to the top of that mountain and overcame these obstacles was the character of the people we had working on them. These Seabees. They just wouldn't quit. In April 1968, a team of Seabees from NMCB-4 were tasked to build a 2,040-foot long, 32-foot high timber bridge across the Thu Bon River, 21 miles southwest of Da Nang. The Thu Bon River separated factories in Da Nang from the city of Hoi An and its much-needed natural resources. The bridge would supplant the small ferry boat that had historically been used for all vehicular traffic, including military convoys. Since the bridge required the strength to withstand the 25-foot rise in the Thu Bon during the rainy winter monsoon season, the 90-foot wooden piles were driven 40 foot into the riverbed. The 26-man team worked for 5 months in near 120-degree heat to drive the 1,080 piles needed to complete the longest timber bridge in Vietnam. In the words of their OIC, Chief John P. Albright, "Each one of my men volunteered to stay on in Vietnam beyond the rotation date to finish the bridge. They were real Seabees, real Americans." In the summer of 1965, Seabee Team 1104, led by Lieutenant Junior Grade Frank Peterlin, was retasked and sent 50 miles north of Saigon to build a camp and airstrip for an Army Special Forces team. On June 4th, 9 men of Seabee Team 1104 arrived at Dong Xoai Base Camp and joined the nearly 400 local troops operating at the site. On the evening of June 9th, just before midnight, the camp was attacked and surrounded by 2,000 members of the Viet Cong's elite 9th Division. Through the melee of mortars and recoilless rifle fire, the Seabees of Team 1104 headed for the berm to defend the camp. At about 1 a.m., the AOIC, Chief Johnny McCulley, was shot in the right arm near the shoulder. Chief McCulley scrambled out of the berm and made his way to the nearby woods while Peterlin and the remaining men held their position. Slightly after 2 a.m., a massive wave of Viet Cong soldiers overcame the camp and split up the members of Team 1104. It was then that Lieutenant Junior Grade Peterlin took a round to the foot, severing the main nerve. Unable to run, he became trapped behind enemy lines. CM3 Marvin Shields and others made their final stand in a district headquarters building at the south end of camp. Army Lieutenant Charles Williams grabbed a 3.5-inch rocket launcher and with the assistance of CM3 Shields, made their way towards a BC machine gun position. With 4 well-placed shots, the two destroyed the position, but while pulling back, a previously unobserved machine gun opened fire, mortally wounding CM3 Shields. The Seabees held on until 1 p.m. on June 10th, when 13 hours after the assault began, U.S. forces came to the rescue. U.S. aircraft strafed and bombed to suppress the VC, allowing 3 rescue helicopters to transport the survivors. As the 3 helicopters departed, 2 Seabees remained trapped behind enemy lines without communications, Chief McCulley in the woods and Lieutenant Peterlin in a foxhole. On the morning of June 11th, U.S. forces returned for another rescue mission, successfully recovering both Seabees. In total, Seabee Team 1104 suffered 7 wounded and 2 dead. Marvin G. Shields and William C. Hoover. Both Lieutenant Peterlin and Chief McCulley were awarded the Silver Star for their actions. CM3 Shields was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor, the only Seabee to ever receive the award. By 1969, 21 full-strength construction battalions, 2 amphibious construction battalions, and 2 construction battalion maintenance units deployed to Southeast Asia. 29,000 men built 6 major ports, 8 airfields, 1,600 miles of road, and 6 naval bases. Their efforts and sacrifice will never be forgotten.